So Kenny Pickett, let's get into it. Obviously, everyone knows the story. Explodes in his final year, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions compared to 13 and 9 respectively in both of his previous years. Meteoric rise to top QB contention from being kind of a late round pick.
This is where the PFF grade comes in. 1 year wonder. So 2019, 75 grade. 2020, 69.8 grade. 2021, 92.3.
Wow.
Just like a massive jump in production.
That's the Joe Burrow jump. And he added another 5 touchdowns rushing. I don't think he's necessarily a dual threat, but he's got the athleticism to make a team pay, kind of like Joe Burrow does as well. He's got a ton of experience under his belt, 49 college starts. He's like a redshirt senior who came back after the COVID season with the extra year, so he's going to be 24 by the time the draft rolls around, so kind of older. But a lot of experience, which is maybe a plus for the QB position. Now to his play, and I apologise, I haven't delved into his like high school, relationships.
Maybe that's Ketz's corner.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Have you got all these things, Ketz, for every player, or is it just Matt Corral?
Yeah, I've tried to for everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we have to dig into Ketz's PI detective corner with every.
Is there anything on Pickett? You got any details?
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
I will say, to kind of jump to the end before I go back into his play, came away with a better feeling for his vibe than I did at the Senior Bowl. Better impression than I did at the Senior Bowl. I'm a vibe scouter, Gav.
He's got a vibe. He's got a QB starting vibe about him.
Yeah, he seems like kind of a chilled out, laid back coastal dude, which is maybe why I got that bad impression of him originally. But I actually kind of didn't mind it so much this time around when I digged in a bit deeper. But anyway, back to his play. I think he shows fantastic, and I base this all on 2021, by the way, because like you say, 1 year wonder. I didn't even bother going back to 2020 and 2019. I made sure it was all 21 tape. I think he shows fantastic maneuverability and pocket awareness. I think he knows when to slide out the pocket and extend plays. I kind of struggle to use this with these QBs, but of these QBs, I think he has relatively pinpoint accuracy and decent arm strength while on the move. His ability to throw on the move, I think, is probably his strongest asset. He hits sideline throws consistently while off balance. Does a very good job of resetting his feet to drive throws downfield after moving around in the pocket. If he has to escape a pass rush, he does a very nice job of quickly resetting, delivering the ball downfield. No fear at all in the face of free runners, makes accurate throws and is aware of the pass rush. Decent size and physical ability, no issues there at all in terms of the QB position. Does some really nice masking of plays and flair stuff. This is maybe a little bit less important, but just as something that jumps off the tape, from kind of moving defenders with his eyes, rolling one way and then faking a throw back the other way, or you could even that famous fake slide, right, in his last game. He's got a bit of swagger to his game, which is something that we've seen with some of these top QBs that have come out in recent years, for better or worse. He's got some really high degree of difficulty throws, which is something I like to see and something you didn't see from some of these other QBs in this class. I think when you see that he can make some of those really tight window throws, even if he doesn't do it necessarily consistently, the fact that he can do it is a big plus for me. I actually think he feels like the perfect QB for Canada. Shoot me if that's wrong, but he's accurate when he's mobile. He's most comfortable when he's rolling out the pocket and on bootlegs. He's improvisational. He beats defenders to the outside. Kind of feel like he would fit nicely. So I came away with a better impression than I thought. Now, obviously, I still do have a lot of knocks. None of these guys are perfect. One of the biggest rises in 1 year to a senior, I mean, the sudden explosion in his play, where has that come from? That's maybe even more meteoric than Joe Burrow was. The tiny hands thing, do we care about that? I don't know. Plays with tiny 2 gloves, 8.5 inches, way below the traditional 9-inch medium. Maybe we should get that on Bill Parcells' list of golden QB rules. The second highest time to throw in the country. That's a little bit of a concern. No, has a lot of escapability. Extends a lot of plays, so maybe that's part of it, but holds the ball. While he does look good on the move, I think he has a tendency to do this rather than scan the field from the pocket, which maybe he wants to do a little bit more often. Needs to lead the passer better at times. I think there's a number of throws where he was throwing slightly behind or above the receiver, relying too much on their ability to adjust and win contested catches. I just wrote learn to throw it away. He was taking some unnecessary sacks and had a few fumbling issues. Maybe comes back to the hand size. And also, I just think he needs to learn to take what he's given on the ground. When he's running around, he's kind of diving around for extra yards, and that's going to get him hurt. Or there was a couple of times when he fumbled as well as a result of that. So, you know what, I expected to be out on him, but I actually quite like his play. I maybe don't see him being the Joe Burrow, but I could see him being similar to like a Derek Carr, not quite that top tier, but a good option in that second tier of QBs. some concerns when it comes to processing and tendencies. But ultimately, I think that's why he's not a number 1 overall pick. But as a guy who is maybe going to be overdrafted, but it's going to happen with a QB, I like him the most out of this class, surprisingly.
So you're definitely in.
Yep.
Where did you say you ranked him? Just for Kets.
At the top.
Number 1.
Yeah.
But not your red star.
No. Well, I'll come back to that at the end.
Okay.
You tease.
Yeah. He's my number 3 guy.
Okay.
I like him. I like you. He sort of grew on me. I was kind of out on him at the Senior Bowl, and he's kind of grown on me. I can see. I think that some people are viewing him as like Justin Herbert 2.0. I don't think he's that.
No.
He does hold on to the ball for ages. And the other real thing, you're right about his throws on the move. They are accurate, but I don't rate his accuracy all the time. And he is quite quick to bail on the pocket. But then his main negative for me is also his positive, which is weird, which is his ball comes out with so much mustard all over it. It's like uncatchable at every level. So he's got incredible zip. If Zappy had his zip, he'd be in this conversation for good quarterbacks. But the problem is, it only comes out with zip. He can't turn it down. Like everything is coming out hot, even like the check down to the running back, and that worries me. He's more of a thrower rather than a passer. So that's my issue with him. But I like it. I love the improvisation. I like he's pretty clutch. Is he a gunslinger? Is he like the most gunslingery guy in this group? Is it Strong? I don't know. I think he's up there. He's definitely more on the gunslinger sort of vibe. But I like it. He's got good improvisation when the play breaks down, like flick shovels. He can tuck it and run. Keeps his feet alive in the pocket. Drifts a little bit, and sometimes drifts into danger in the pocket. But I think he's got. You said he doesn't like handle pressure. I think he's got poise.
No, I said he did. I said he did.
Oh right, yeah. He's got poise. Sorry, I misheard you then. But I think his pocket presence needs some work. I think he's got poise, but he doesn't have. I just think he needs to learn that the pocket is there to protect him, and that he doesn't need to tuck it and run.
And I think that's true for a lot of these guys, because a lot of them are not necessarily dual threats, apart from Malik Willis, but guys that can make you pay with your legs, right? And a lot of these guys are tucking and running before they read the field.
What are you going to say, Kev?
Just in terms of your gunslinger point of view, he was a baseball pitcher, but stopped playing as coaches thought it could impact his football ability. Also played basketball as well, so he's quite an all-round sportsman, really. But maybe he's baseball pitching the football too violently towards his poor running back that's 4 yards away from him.
Hey, history of good baseball pitchers having some success, so not a bad thing.
Exactly. Yes, but no, I'd be in on him as well, pretty much for everything Si said.
What about your negatives, Kets? You got anything on the negatives yet?
It's mostly positives, to be fair. I think the adjusting the legs as he's looking at passing options, he literally jumps around in a sort of a diagonal kind of way, and is always kind of lining up his hips and his shoulders to where he's throwing to. So that's always really good. Again, does the kind of tightrope run down the perimeter, gaining extra yards. Fumbled a couple of times. I think the question mark of his hand size will come into account with an NFL football in his hands. There was some sort of analyst that was saying the ball kind of really wobbles in the air with an NFL football in his hands, and you just wonder if he's such a zip kind of quarterback, is the bigger ball is he gonna have to adjust to that, or is he gonna find a way to get it coming out as consistently? But time will tell with that. So it's not something you can look at in the draft process.
That does scare me. I agree, because it's not something we can really, speak to, is it? You don't see that watching tape because the ball's different. So it's so tough. But I must admit, it does worry me a little bit with the fumbling issues he already had, and I don't know.
I said it about Burrow as well, didn't I?
He has an extra half inch. Sorry, Mike.
Arr.
Yeah, definitely got that.
What were you going to say, Mike, before?
That wasn't me, lads.
Oh, all right. Someone's doing impressions of you. Well, what do you think about Pickett then, Mike?
Yeah, Pickett for me, Red Star.
Whoa.
Red Star. You're sitting there quietly away with your Red Star.
I literally said, does anyone else have a number 1? Tumbleweed, and then, all right.
I mean, I did say it was him and Corral, but there you go. Yeah, he was actually the first player I watched, and the comments you make about fumbling, I think, are fair, particularly if that's going to be, that's one of the things that sticks with players coming out of college. If they have an issue with that, it's not going to get easier. Same with people who have a high amount of interceptions. It gets harder. And if you're already if you've got a TD to INT ratio 1-to-1, it's going to get worse. But in terms of Pickett, I get the Joe Burrow comparison in terms of sort of the 1-year wonder. But I think it's almost like a poor man's Joe Burrow comparison, because I think Joe Burrow's LSU season was out of this world, dwarfed what Kenny Pickett did. And don't get me wrong, Kenny Pickett had a phenomenal 2021. But I think someone like Joe Burrow is going to get SEC bias as well. And winning the whole thing undefeated is going to work in his favor. But I get the comparison. Maybe the Justin Herbert comparison because of the hair. I don't know. Movement in the pocket, I was really impressed with Pickett, but it's a strange one because he's content with there being a lot of activity around him. Pocket collapsing. He's got that little, half a step here, half a step there. I really like. And then on the flip side, it could be a clean pocket and he'll run. That bit was frustrating, but I think that can be coached. He's a handy runner, so you mentioned the fake slide. I mean, my ACL ripped seeing him do that. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know. He did it.
I have no idea how he did it on the fly. Credit to him, but he's a handy runner. He's not, he's not a massive athlete, but he's content enough. He doesn't have a cannon of an arm, but again, it's good enough. It's a box ticking exercise.
Yeah.
You're sort of content when you're walking away with that. It's not something
every ball's thrown at like 70% power, isn't it? Like every single ball.
But I'm talking about bombing it, 60, 70 yards.
That's what I mean. Even that's at 70%. Everything seems to be at 70%. The short stuff. That's why I got frustrated. It's got one velocity, and that's it.
No, a touch is needed. But I just don't think I think there are other players who've come out in the past and you sell it on, God, this guy's arm is a rocket. He can throw it 200 yards. Pickett isn't that. I thought his accuracy was very good on deeper balls. I like his progression reads, and it ties in, I suppose, with his sort of movement in the pocket. Little touch here, little touch there. He can kind of keep his eyes scanning the field. I was impressed with that. Not afraid of throwing on the run. Big fan of that. There were a few throws which I did kind of go, ooh, that's a little bit too risky in terms of coverage, ball placement and stuff like that. But he's the sort of player you would take that on board and run with him. So QB1 for me, it's not as high as some of the players we've had in the past couple of years, but in the class that we've got, if you wanted someone to start day one, yeah, I think Pickett your man.
Now, Mike, can I ask you a question? Because you might have a better view of this. Oh, okay.
Right.
All right, moving on.
I just
Far away.
fly with a cat. That's an achievement.
When a guy improves this much, and specifically just looking at his stats, right, he goes from 13 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 2020 to 42 touchdowns and 7 interceptions this year. I struggle to see that one player can improve that much. Is there something going on with the team around him? Did he get way improved weapons like that I don't know about? Is there more to this story than I know, or is he really just rocket?
I'm just having a quick look at see sort of my list of players I've already scouted to see who else came out of Pitt. It's a cornerback, so that's no use.
Do you know what I mean? No, it just seems strange that a guy can have that level of like. How do you
jump? Meteoric jump. The PFF says it's the biggest one-season jump they've ever seen.
I mean, how do you score quadruple the amount of touchdowns? How does that happen?
I mean, and I think if you're an interviewer, that's the first question you ask. You say, explain it, because you're going to know better than I. It's because there's a plethora of reasons. It could be maturity. It could be the players around him. It could be the opposition he played. But I mean, he played. Okay, Clemson were a mixed bag. North Carolina, Syracuse have been decent over the last few years. Wake Forest can be handy. Tennessee are there. I mean, he wasn't the the toughest schedule by any stretch, but he's in, what is it, the ACC? You've got to play who you're against, sort of thing. But that's definitely the first guy. You'll never know, I suppose, to put your finger on why exactly was it that you had this meteoric jump. But I think teams would look at, well, it happened to Joe Burrow and look what he's done, and Pickett will be the same thing. I just don't think it was that much of a jump.
Yeah.
It happened to Trubisky too. The 1 year.
I suppose did he only really play 1 year?
Yeah, he only really played 1 year. Yeah, it's different, I suppose.
A good year, don't get me wrong, but we've seen it a bit, haven't we? Baker, Kyler. We've seen guys come in with one decent year and teams taking them high. I think Pickett fall into that category as well.
Anything in the Ket's background check that we should be aware of? Or
Dad was an All-American linebacker at Shippensburg University, and pretty much sporting family. His mum played soccer, sister plays soccer as well. His grandfather was a basketball player. And then just the high ankle sprain on his left ankle and a grade 2 sprain on the inside and outside of his lower ankle against Boston College. He got injured against Boston College, re-entered the game after the injury and played through the pain. Leadership box ticked.
A little bit of a cortisone shot there.
If it works,
Okay.
Happy days.
Good.
So
Nice
can
work.
I just check the ins and outs on Pickett,
Oh,
please?
yeah.
I need yours, Gav, and Rich, please.
Yeah, Rich, have you even spoken about Pickett yet?
Yeah, no, you guys pretty much covered everything. I have him. I have him number 2. I like him a lot. I think he's the probably the most pro ready quarterback of the group. I think he's one of those guys he could probably come in and start day one for you. And most of these guys can't, I don't think, or they shouldn't at least.
Right, I've got that written here as well. He looks like a QB most ready to start from a passing perspective, whereas Ridder, you could probably start from a rushing perspective. But yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah.
So
Anything else?
Out, Gav.
I put good frame, rhythm, vertical passer with good deep ball and playmaking, scrambling ability. So yeah, I'm in. So that's a consensus in. So he is
Dog.